you getting thrown in jail.
Yes.
Talk to me about that story. Did you see it coming? Were you warned? Or was it just boom, like that, one day everything changes? Talk to me about the day you went to jail.
I knew they were going to try and put me in jail for something. I didn't know it was going to be as insane and crazy as it was. I had prepared for it the best I could, but I wasn't ready for the level of matrix attack I was subject to. I was hit with an Interpol red warning. Like, I was hit with #1 terrorist level attack, which was very interesting. But yes, I was in Dubai. Life was relatively good. Life was too good. I said to Tristan, life is too good. Something is going to go wrong. He didn't actually agree with me. When we got to jail, he understood I was right. But we were sitting, I remember, we had this mansion, and we had haggled for this mansion. This mansion was, I think it was $100,000 a week to rent. And we rented it, and then some guy came and offered $150, and then we offered $200. And in the end, we ended up paying $250,000 a week for this mansion.
So $1 million a month.
Yeah, so we had this mansion on the Palm, because whoever this other person was trying to get it off us. And my brother, being my brother, had found these, 20 girls from God knows where, and they're all in the pool, and we had our staff and our cigars and our shisha and our masseuses, and my Bugatti's outside, and I bought a McLaren and a Ferrari just because I was bored, and we're in Dubai, and everything is going perfectly well. And I said, Tristan, something bad has to happen soon. And he goes, why? I was like, look at this. Look where we are. Who are these girls? What are their names? Like, everything is too good. Yeah. Something has to go wrong. That's just how life works. He's like, what could it be? I was like, well, what's the worst case scenario? And the worst case scenario is that one of us dies or gets in trouble. So we agreed. It's like, okay, for the next 6 months or so, we don't go anywhere alone. You go bathroom, I go bathroom. You go restaurant, I go restaurant. We roll as a team permanently. We're like, okay, good.
Ride or die.
Ride or die. So we had decided something bad was going to happen. And I had already told many podcasts before that and made it clear that you get 3 chances, and the second chance is put you in jail. And I was like, they're going to try and put us in jail, but how can they do it? I don't take drugs. At this point, I stopped drinking.
Had you ever taken drugs?
Never in my life. I've never tried a drug in my life.
Never
even tried weed. Never.
No interest.
I know some idiot's going to sit and say caffeine and nicotine are drugs. Correct, technically. But I've never tried any illegal substance in my life. Never tried steroids, none of them. So I've never tried drugs. I've always been...
No test.
Nothing. I've always been firmly anti-drugs. Maybe
Why?
It's a good question. Maybe it was the DARE officer. I don't know what it is, but I don't know. I've always been super anti-drugs. I just felt like if I try the drug and I like it, I now want the drug, which has to be bad for my life.
Right.
And if I try the drug and I don't like it, I'll wish I never tried the drug, so why try it? So I just never tried it. Plus, I was a professional athlete for so long. And when you get to a certain age, having never done drugs, I got to 31 or 32 and I'd retired and I'd never tried drugs. Do I really need to start now? Plus, some of the drugs, speaking as somebody who's a complete layman to these things, I don't know drugs. But some of the drugs look semi-appealing, but some of them really don't. Like cocaine, I look at and I think, okay, if that gives you confidence and makes you feel hyper and happy, I can understand why that's attractive. But everyone I know who's ever done cocaine acted like an idiot, and I didn't want to be an idiot, so I've never been tempted by cocaine. And then MDMA or whatever these other ones are, ketamine or whatever, you just lose your mind and jump up and down and sweat a bunch. That doesn't look fun to me either.
Right.
Weed is the least appealing of all because people say, oh, but it's only weed. But why would you want a drug that makes you just want to sit and watch TV and eat food? I could do that without drugs. I could be a lazy idiot without drugs just fine. I mean, magic mushrooms, okay, I think anyone with a brain would sit and go, the idea of taking a mushroom and the whole room changing would be kind of cool, but I still refuse to do it. But the drugs that most people take, I don't even understand why they take them. Most people have such terrible choice in life, such terrible choices, that even the drugs they choose to use are crap. I don't get it. Magic mushrooms, enter an alternate reality, fine. But to smoke weed just to eat Popeye's delivery and watch TV, I do not understand. So I've never been tempted by drugs, never did it. So I couldn't understand how they were going to put us in jail, but I knew it was coming. We left London, flew to England. I did Piers Morgan, called him an idiot. Left London. Left London, and I was deciding, do I go from London directly to Dubai, or do I come back here to pack a suitcase? And I flew back to Romania to pack a suitcase. I was here for 8 hours, called Greta Thunberg stupid with the pizza, and then got picked up in the morning. My jet was on the runway, fueled, and the police picked me up about an hour before I was supposed to go to the airport. So they had been intending on arresting me for a while, I understand.
What time was it that they came and got you?
5 in the morning.
Were you sleeping?
I was asleep, and you know, when I have armed security at the house, and when I heard my door being busted, my instant reaction after being woke up, when I heard my door getting busted open, it was like, they've killed my guards. Because I didn't know if it was the police or the other team.
Right.
And I got my weapon and they bust in the door, and obviously there's a bunch of them, they're all masked up with shotguns, etc. When I first saw the police, it was genuine relief. I thought it could have been I'd rather the police than crazy Albanians.
Right.
I really thought it might be the other team. So when I first saw the police, I was like, thank God it's you. What do you want? And they're like, oh, get on the ground. I'm like, yeah, I'll get on the ground, whatever. Like, what do you want? Yeah. And then I worked out I was going to jail for human trafficking and all this insanity, and I've told the story a bunch of times, but I don't think I took it that seriously for the first 3 or 4 days.
And Tristan was there with you?
Tristan was with me. When we first went to jail, we were separate, but during the arresting process, when they were searching our house and stealing all of our stuff and taking our cars and taking all our diamond watches and everything, my brother and I just kept looking at each other like what is going, this is some sort of mistake, but this is garbage, we'll clear it up quickly. Yeah. And we learned obviously that wasn't the case, and they dragged us to jail and they threw us in separate jail cells, and because of the time of year it was just before New Year's, so the translators weren't working, so all the paperwork was in Romanian. I didn't even know why I was in jail. I just knew I was in jail for human trafficking. I didn't know who, I didn't know when, I didn't know anything for almost a whole full week till I found out the true insanity that they had stuck on me. And I knew it was a Matrix attack, but I guess to this day, even now, I'm still kind of impressed how they've managed to construct such a garbage narrative out of me and my brother telling people we know what time to do TikTok to be popular. I mean, that's crazy. But that's how the Matrix operates, right?
And they didn't even show you, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe the paperwork when you went to jail was like not even in English.
Oh, it's all in Romanian. Yeah.
So they intentionally did it in a way to minimize your ability to navigate.
Well, the truth is this. I don't think most people at home understand, especially if you're a man, that all men are guilty all of the time. Every man in this room is guilty of a sexual crime. Because the sexual crimes are now so subjective and they're so open to interpretation that if you upset the government and they want to attack you, they will put you in jail for one of those crimes because it damages your reputation. And a lot of these crimes are so subjective that it's impossible to even quantify what they are anymore. They can call you emotionally coercive. What does that mean? That means you're nice to a girl so that she does something for you. So if you say, please, baby, can you make me a coffee? You were emotionally coercive. That's what they could do if they wanted to. Sure. And when you understand that they use the process as a punishment, I say this to people and they say, but they can't put you in jail for asking your wife to make you a coffee. I said, no. They probably won't put you in jail with that, but they will accuse you of being emotionally coercive. They will arrest you. They will put you in the media. They will slander your name. They will make you pay millions of dollars of legal fees. They will make you waste years of your life on bail. And then you get to walk. Oh, great. Lucky you. The damage has been done. The process is the punishment. And any man who's living any type of life now in the world doesn't understand that he's permanently guilty of sexual crimes, because all of these things now have been extrapolated to subjectivity, and women are living in a society where they have all the power but no responsibility at all for their own actions, that a woman can go through life and use her own agency to make her own adult decisions, but if she regrets those decisions years later, she can find a man to blame, and that man's going to get wrecked. You see it endlessly. Mia Khalifa did porn, had sex with hundreds of men, made a bunch of money, and now that she regrets doing porn, she blames her manager for tricking her into doing porn. And now it's a man's fault somehow. And that's the world we live in. So, but I'll be honest, I'm a little bit mad at myself for not seeing it coming, because before they hit me with this Matrix attack, I really did consider, understanding they're going to try and put me in jail, that they're going to try and attack me with sexual crimes of some sort, but I couldn't work out how they were going to do it.
Right.
And then they made up the absolute garbage they did. Their intention was to put me in jail, drum up a real case, knowing that their initial case was garbage, and they failed to do that. They called 2,000 women who knew me, and none of them said anything bad about me, and it's all failed, and they're forced to proceed with their first initial accusation, is that I told girls what hours to do TikTok. And here we are in the middle of the judicial process with it being thrown away little by little. But the process is to punishment. I've still been in jail for 3 entire months in a Romanian dungeon. I was still locked in my house for 5 months. I still haven't seen my cars or my diamonds or my gold or my bank accounts ever since.
How many cars did they seize?
16, I think, which is upsetting because it's almost 20% of my collection. Very upsetting. Upsetting.
How many cars total?
I have 59 now.
59.
50. No, sorry. I had 16, and now I have none. Let me get that correct for the cameras. But yeah, so the process itself is the punishment. You still spend millions and millions of dollars in legal fees.
Right.
They don't care. They don't care if you're innocent or guilty. They have no interest in that. Their goal is to teach you a lesson and to punish you. I think anyone at home who doesn't agree with the following statement is an idiot. If I wasn't so monumentally famous, this wouldn't have happened to me. This is a simple statement. If I wasn't so well known, there is 0% chance the Romanian state would have tried to make an example of me via proxy by putting me in jail for telling people what time to do TikTok. They did it because I am famous, proving in and of itself that it's not about law and order, it's about damaging my influence because it's a matrix attack. That's all it's about. And anyone who thinks that the judicial system at the highest levels has anything to do with justice is again a fool, because it isn't. It's about damaging influence, and it's a big theater show. I think there's another really famous person who's going through a bunch of garbage legal cases right now. What's his name? He was president or something. Can't remember. But he's being hit with endless garbage, and they're just wrecking him time and time again. Is that about law?
Right before the election, too.
Yeah, interesting. Is that about law? Is that about what's right and wrong? No, it's about damaging a person's influence. The judicial system is a weapon. The goal of a judicial system is to preserve a degree of sanctity amongst the populace and to make sure that certain narratives are enforced amongst the population. So the whole point of a judicial system is that people wake up underneath that system and feel safe or believe in the government or don't act completely crazy because of the law and order. So by extension, if you have people at the top who are disrupting the narrative and causing disruption to the population by making people think things they're not supposed to think or say things they're not supposed to say, it is the job of the legal system to stop those people, right? For the same reason you wouldn't allow somebody to start a cult which had heinous intentions, you don't want an influential person to stand up and talk against your narratives which you're trying to instill to poison the minds of the children of the people who live inside of your country. Now, I know what they're doing is evil. We're not talking about right and wrong here. We're talking about the goal of the legal system. The goal of the legal system is to preserve the government's control and society's functioning. That's the whole point of it. So if they're trying to do evil things and I'm talking against it, even though I'm in the right, it is the legal system's job to deal with me. That's the whole point of the legal system. To make people, the legal system is supposed to make you act how they want you to act. Don't speed, don't kill. Cool, we all agree with those two. We don't agree with the don't talk, don't think part. But they want you to do all of it. And if you don't, you're punished with the legal system. So anyone who sits and says, oh, it's about law, is a fool, because that's not what it's about at the top. It's about damaging your influence, because if you have a massive amount of influence, you're a threat to them. You're a threat to their narratives. You're a threat to the information war. And that's what we're living in. We're living in an information war.
So 2 quick questions as it relates to the day you get thrown in prison. Obviously, when the cops bust down the door, it's you and Tristan there. Do you remember the last thing you told Tristan, or the last exchange?
It wasn't just me and Tristan. There was also some girls in the house. And they busted in for human trafficking. There's girls in the house, my brother's girlfriend, my girlfriend, whatever, they're in the house with us. They didn't ask the girls how they are. They didn't say, girls, do you need help? They didn't try and take the girls away, nothing. You know the first thing they said to me? Where's the Bugatti? First words they said to me.
No way.
I swear to God. Because their intention was to make an example of me, and that was symbolic of my success. At the time, the Bugatti was everywhere, so they wanted to put it on a truck and say, haha, we took it off him. If they cared about human trafficking, why didn't they ask the girls how they were? Why did they drag girls from bed and put them in handcuffs by their hair? Why beat a bunch of women up? I thought we're worried about women here. I thought I'm a misogynist and it's human trafficking. Now you got a bunch of women and you're hurting them. Whole thing's garbage. Whole thing's garbage. They knew it was garbage. Everybody knows it's garbage. The intention was pure. The intention was to take all my stuff, make an example of me, put the spaghetti on a trailer, put it all over the news, ha ha ha, no one's more powerful than the government, don't talk against the state, throw me in jail. Once I'm in jail, call everyone who knows me, drum up a real case, and screw me over. They failed at the last part of that, drum up a real case. Their current case isn't a case. They know it's not a case, and they're forced to see it through now because they couldn't find anything else. Which is also why it's so important that you live pure if you're going to talk against authority, because they're going to come for you. And they're going to come for you for everything you've ever done. Every woman you've ever slept with, every loan you've ever taken, every sniff of cocaine you thought nobody would know about, which is on some CCTV camera you didn't spot. All of it is going to come out. All of it. So next time you're sitting there thinking, I want to have an opinion, but at the same time, I want to do these haram things or do these bad things and no one's going to know. They are going to know. That's why it's so important you live pure. I'm sure they're very, very disappointed that they didn't find the things they were looking for on me. And anyone who attacks me and my character also isn't intelligent enough to understand that I've been examined by multiple federal agencies at the highest possible level for over 3 or 4 years. And what have they found? Me making misogynistic jokes on YouTube? Oh, well, throw me in jail. They didn't find anything weird. They didn't find any pedophilia on my laptop. Didn't find any drugs in my house. Nothing. What did they find? Andrew said women can't park. Oh, well, he should go to jail. And there's people so stupid that they'll buy into that narrative. No one has a brain enough to sit there and go, they've hit this guy. England's tried, America's tried, Romania's now trying. They've gone through his entire life, all of his electronics. They've been spying on him for years. Everything he says, all of it. And what they found is old YouTube videos. That's the open and shut case that I'm a bad guy. I would argue if you were to get most men on the street and go through their lives and find all their deepest, darkest secrets, you'd find a lot worse than what I've done. Maybe not even worse legally, but worse reputationally. Mm-hmm. You'd find him begging for some woman to take him back. You'd find him with a tranny in Thailand. Something weird. What have they found on me? Nothing. And there's still idiots out there who don't understand that. So the legal system's job is to keep society functioning. And if they want society to function with everybody afraid to talk and homosexuals in charge, and you have to sit there and allow them to psyop your kids, well then I am a target of the legal system because I'm against their narratives. I'm a fugitive. I'm a thought criminal. The reason they hate me so much is because my influence is massive. Your ability to talk freely is directly correlated to your insignificance. Mm-hmm. A lot of people sit and say, oh, we live in a free country. You can say what you want. Well, you can because no one listens.
Interesting.
So we'll start talking large enough for people to listen to you, and you'll realize that you're not allowed to do what you want. And this whole guise of freedom we live under is a scam anyway. None of it's real. You're free to do the unimportant things. Sure, you're free to chop your balls off. Congratulations. But you're not free to keep them. You're not free to keep your balls and stand up for what you believe in and protect your family. You're not free to do that. But you're free to chop them off, which is why they come along and say, oh, look, we're a free society. Mm-hmm. You can chop your balls off. You say, well, I don't want to do that. I want to keep them, thank you very much. I don't want you to try and convince my son to do it either. Then you're going to realize that it's all a scam. We live in a fish tank, and you can swim around, and the walls are glass, so you don't really understand you're in a jail because there's glass walls, and you can see outside of the glass, and you see all this big, beautiful room, and you think everything's fine. But if you try and go too far, you start bumping up against the glass wall. You start to go too far, all of a sudden your banks don't work. All of a sudden you're dangerous for any service provider to allow. I'm banned from Uber. They think I'm going to, get an Uber and convince the driver? Yeah. What am I going to do? Hey, bro, the Matrix. And he's going to tell his next passenger? Like, why would you ban me from Uber? Not that I took Uber anyway.
Right.
When I got banned from everything, you know the biggest try-hard loser company on earth? Airbnb. I'm going to say it now. Airbnb are losers, here's why.